Hello there, and welcome to Mono Blue Week, a special series where I post a new deck tech each day, starting with the most friendly and casual builds, and then day by day progressing to stuff that are a bit more me. Mono Blue Week Day 4 Meloku, the Clouded Mirror. Meloku is 4 and a blue for a Moonfolk wizard that has flying and a single ability that reads: pay 1 generic mana and return a land you control to its owner's hand to create a 1/1 blue illusion with flying. Meloku is also one of my favorite cards from Kamigawa. The character is cunning and mysterious. The art by Scott Fisher is impeccable. The ability is flavorful yet powerful, and the flavor text is perfection. The plans of the Sorotami may have failed during the Kami War, but this time the plane no. The multiverse will be theirs. Today is also a watershed moment for the Mono Blue Week. The casual fun has had its moment in the sun, and gimmicks will no longer do. It is time to turn the tables, to make way for something more, something extra. And nothing says extra like an extra turn. I usually start with presenting the creatures, but for today I decided to switch things up and explain the win conditions, because the interactions are just that many, and because it would be easier to explain what a lot of our cards do if you know the deck's goal/win con. Meloku has always been an industrious fellow, and has recently teamed up with Min Wily Illusionist and a certain blast from the past, Blasting Station. You return a land to your hand and create a 1/1 illusion, then immediately sacrifice it to the station, which promptly blasts an opponent's face for 1 damage. When the token dies, it triggers Min, who lets you put a permanent with lesser mana value than 1, assuming the illusion had at least 1 power. You ponder for some time and decide to put down the land you just returned, then tap it floating a mana, and use that mana to return it again, creating another illusion. This untaps the Blasting Station, and once again you tap the artifact, triggering the entire loop. Another classic involves Meloku, plus Mystic Sanctuary, plus any of the 4 extra turn spells I run in the deck. The interaction goes like this: you cast your extra turn, and the card goes to the yard. You bounce Mystic Sanctuary, and create a 1/1 blue illusion with flying. Then you replay the land, it triggers, and puts the extra turn spell from the graveyard back on top of your library. You proceed to your extra turn, draw your card for the turn, and be like,
how'd that get in there? Oh, don't cry.
Then attack with your 1/1 flyer, and repeat the entire process, each time getting 1 more token and another extra turn. But Meloku is a master strategist, and doesn't need to get his hands dirty. Behold the victorious march of the Sorotami, for the aforementioned combo works with almost all of them. Sorotami Cloud Skater lets you return Mystic Sanctuary and replay it as part of the loop, while also letting you cycle through your library. This is important because the loop technically denies you your draw for the turn, since you draw the extra turn spell, and this looting effect lets you find Laboratory Maniac. When your library is empty, instead of repeating the loop, you play the Maniac and cycle yet again. Oboro Breeze Caller, Floodbringer, and Sorotami Waneshaper work as well, with the bonus that the Floodbringer can tap your opponent's lands to avoid any last-minute attempts to disrupt your combo. Since they don't cycle cards or increase our board state, win is achieved either through attacking with them, since they have flying, or in case the opponent has flyers, through another card. That can be either Gadwick the Wizened, who will tap a creature an opponent controls on every extra turn we cast, Primal Amulet, which will flip itself and provide an extra turn for us to get a breather, to draw a card and cast something better like our commander, Baron Tolarian Archmage, which draws a card whichever we return a land to our hand, thus helping us draw our entire deck, or Unctus, Grand Metatect, who can cycle a lot of cards whenever blue creatures get tapped, such as when we attack with them. Another option is through plethora of our lands that either make creatures unblockable or create tokens, such as Access Tunnel, Rogue's Passage, and the Myrics. Uyu Silent Prophet joins the fray as well, thanks to the interaction between Walking Atlas and Retreat to Coralhelm. Let's assume there is a spell on the stack, and the Atlas is untapped and ready to go. You activate Uyu, and paying 2 mana and returning 2 lands you just tapped for mana, in order to copy the spell. Holding priority, you tap the Atlas and put one of those lands to the field untapped. This triggers the enchantment and untaps the Atlas. You tap the Atlas again and put the second land, untapping the Atlas once more, then tap those 2 lands floating 2 mana and activate Uyu once again. This loop lets you copy any spell on the stack infinite number of times, and in case of Stroke of Genius, Blue Sun's Zenith or Commander's Insight will result in you decking your opponents by forcing them to draw their libraries, most likely 1 card at a time. GG no rare. The Atlas and Retreat to Coralhelm interaction also enables a few other combos, such as an infinite number of illusions from Meloku, or infinite damage through Oboro Breezcaller, bouncing Sun-Scorched Desert, and untapping Temple of the False God, or Coral Atoll. Come to think of it, the Desert combo can also be achieved during an extra turn, with the help of Terrain Generator. There are probably some more interactions out there, but so far those are the ones I've seen. And before we move on with the rest of the deck, I want to address the elephant in the room. I know that you're probably thinking, extra turns, infinite damage. Cookie, it's only day 4. Well, it's Mono Blue week, and if you thought this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. Since a massive amount of cards in the deck can be part of a combo, the rest are dedicated to support functions. Those include yet another Moonfong, in the face of Sorotami Savant, which can counter a spell, Meteor Golem, for needed removal of problematic permanents, the 2/2 trio, Trinket Mage, Tribute Mage, and Trophy Mage, and lastly Drift of Phantasms, with the main targets for tutoring being combo pieces with appropriate mana cost. Continuing the tutoring trend, because there are a total of 12 here, yes, you heard correctly, I included Mystical Tutor and Solve the Equation to find our extra turn or draw spells, Wheel of Invention and Fabricate for artifacts, Muddle the Mixture for combo pieces like Walking Atlas or Sorotami, as well as counters like Arcane Denial, Counterspell, Memory Lapse, Negate, Test of Talents, and Stoic Rebuttal. Narset's Reversal is also here mostly to bounce and copy one of our spells that is being targeted by another counter. For removal I chose classics like Curse of the Swine, Capsize, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization for single target, as well as Washout, Aether Gale, and Spectral Deluge for mass removal. I also included an extra draw spell in Flow of Knowledge. The largest portion of the artifacts are dedicated to ramp, such as Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Wayfarer's Bauble, Cold Steel Heart, Sky Diamond, Fort Vessel, as well as few multi-purpose ones, Midnight Clock, the Celestis, which now that I'm looking at it can also enable some of our bounce loops I talked about earlier, Heraldic Banner, which can be a possible backup win con, as well as Stormspeaker Crystal, for some graveyard hate. Other artifacts are Expedition Map for yet more tutoring, Skull Clamp for draw. I want to add something I noticed while editing. Skull Clamp can also be used in the already covered interaction between Meloku and Min to draw our entire deck, provided that the land we are bouncing and replaying is Temple of the False God, and of course we control enough lands to be able to tap it for mana. Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots to make sure our precious Moonfolk are alive, and of course Spine of Ishtar. Apart from the already mentioned lands, the mana base includes Blast Zone and Demolition Field for removal, Diamond City, which is great protection that can be reactivated, Myriad Landscape for some extra ramp, Castle Vantress for scry, Boseiju Who Shelters All for mirror matches, and Tularia West and Urza Saga for, you guessed it, more tutoring. A friendly reminder from yesterday that we can bounce Urza Saga back to our hand while its third chapter is still on the stack. That way we keep the land and still get our free tutoring effect. 20 basic islands round our land total to 36 land cards. I didn't mention that according to my cookie power level scale, the deck amounts to an 8. I'll see you again tomorrow for some more friendly builds. As always, thank you for watching. Cheers.